Ollie Guillou, along with his wife Philly, are the driving force behind OG Podcasts, a family-run production company with a strong background in broadcasting. The duo recently turned their attention to a deeper personal narrative, though, the wartime experiences of Ollie's grandmother, Jill Chubb. As the 80th anniversary of Liberation approaches, Ollie sat down with Jill to document her early childhood memories from behind the fences of the Nazi internment camp Biberach. Just over 1,000 Channel Islands deemed non-locally born were deported during the German occupation. Families were torn apart, sent away simply because of their British mainland roots. Jill Chubb was one of them.
The deeper the understanding, the better. And Ollie agrees with me that young people should know as well, as long as they know, and it will be spread. Otherwise, it'd be all forgotten. So they must remember as well, we're part of history.
This podcast series that they've worked on offers a rare and vital perspective, the recollections of a young child thrust into the heart of unimaginable cruelty, and their journey began abruptly.
I was a week into my 3rd birthday. The first thing I knew about going away was my mum said we were on holiday anyway. We ended up in a hold of a cargo ship. We sat down the hold, they pulled the hatch down, we sat on hay, and I remember smelling the lamps that they had down there, very rough weather. And then we got to France. I know it's France now, but we landed somewhere. And the next thing I remember is being in a place called Dorsten, which is in industrial Germany. I could never go back there. It was a kind of transit camp where they decided where they can send people. And the experiences I had there weren't very nice.
From the hold of a cargo ship, the deportees were moved across Europe, eventually arriving at Dorsten. From there, a harrowing 36-hour train journey transported the men, women and children to Biberach on the Ries. In Biberach, conditions were incredibly difficult. Families were often separated and hardship became a daily reality, until their liberation in 1945. For Jill, speaking about these deeply buried memories was a long and emotional process.
I felt a great relief. I couldn't talk about it till I was about 70 because you sort of bury it, you know. And then when I started talking, I felt a lot better. And I think that's what I was meant to do. I was meant to talk about it and tell people about it. And the experiences I had and felt and memories as a little girl of 3. And we were there from 42 to 45. So that's my formative years. And anything traumatic, I think I remembered, because I would have kept a diary had I been older.
This act of sharing has been profoundly impactful for Jill, made even more meaningful through her connection with her grandson Ollie.
Sharing it with Ollie, because he's my grandson, made it doubly easy for me to talk, because we have that bond, and to share exactly what I was feeling. And I'm blessed to have such a grandson. And that's all I can say. And I think Ollie will spread the word very well. When I'm not here, probably it'll still go on. But I want to do that before I pop my socks.
For Ollie, documenting his grandmother's story was a deeply personal yet professional experience.
I want to quote Grandma back to herself, actually, just off the back of what you asked her. She says in the podcast, "You've got to have the strength to do it, the courage to be able to tell the truth. That's what I live by, really." And I think that message is so powerful because it cuts through all of the questions about why we might want to relive history, or why is it important to tell these stories or keep telling these stories. And I think it is deeply, deeply important, not just so that you can learn from the mistakes of the past and hopefully change our trajectory, which sadly it doesn't look like we're doing so in the world right now, but also sitting down with Grandma and just hearing her explain even portions of the story that she hadn't yet told me over the years, because she has been sort of regaling bits and moments and things ever since I did her first ever interview. And I've heard bits and bobs over the years as she's sort of given me information about what the Guernsey Deportees Association has been up to. And even sitting down with her, I learned brand new things. And I thought, you know, it made me realize just how important it is to sit and listen and ask questions of your family. People just see their grandparents as uninteresting, and they have these rich, amazing stories that they have to tell. And I've known that for a long time, but I think it became really prescient when I was sitting there speaking for hours on end with Grandma. I think I exhausted her by the end of it, to be honest.
Crafting this narrative was a unique challenge for Ollie, blending his professional skills with that deep personal connection.
It was strange in a way because I was doing what I do for my professional job and thinking, how can I craft this and build an emotional peak and make sure the narrative journey takes the audience on this incredible journey. But at the same time, I was being taken on that journey myself. So in a way, it was easier for me to do it because I knew exactly in my mind, there were no questions about what the next interesting step was or what the most emotional or piece was that was going to come next or what was going to elicit the biggest response, because I was feeling those emotions as I was editing. There were moments I would listen back to an episode that I've edited and scripted 10, 15, 20 times over, and still I'd feel a little lump in my throat. And it never became less powerful while I was doing that work. So as a creator, I think finding something that you can really sink your teeth into that means something to you on a deeper level than just telling the story was an incredible experience, actually.
Jill has long worked with the Guernsey Deportees Association. Formed back in 1997, it's played a vital role in building bridges with Biberach, fostering a relationship of understanding and remembrance. Earlier this month, in April 2025, a framework of friendship arrangement was agreed. It's not quite a twinning, but it solidifies that positive connection between the two jurisdictions. Ollie reflects on the importance of preserving these memories.
There's so much that you don't know about your grandparents. There is such a rich history there that so few people are willing to spend the time to unpack, and so many people just see their grandparents as a bit boring or that they haven't got as much to offer because they're older. And it's actually the opposite. They've got a wealth, they've got double, triple the life experiences that you've had. And if you don't spend the time to talk about it or unpack that with them, people are so easily just drift through life without ever learning, because people don't just openly go around saying, oh, let me tell you all about my history and all the things that happened to me. But when you actually find out what did happen, I don't think there's a single person in the world who doesn't have a fascinating tapestry that's led them to the place that they are now. And I think it can tell you so much about where you are in life and who you are and the people that came before you and why you are the way you are, and perhaps help you build on some of the strengths that they found in their past to bring those forward into your life as well. I sit and think, sometimes I moan about an Amazon delivery not arriving in 2 days when it said it was going to take one. And then I think, well, you know what? My grandma went through at 3. Come on, I just think you'll open up a world of wonder and information that you never expected. And it's such a shame to think that, one day all of these 80 odd years of experience will just disappear and fade and no one will ever remember them. So you need to take them forward. I think it's your duty to, as a grandchild, as a child, whoever you are. And just on a bigger level as well, telling the story of the deportees and telling these stories more widely. It is about learning from the past, but it's also about making sure that those connections that have been made to bring people together in the now continue to stay strong throughout history. Because Grandma, I don't know if you felt this, but with the Guernsey Deportees Association, with everybody aging, with very few members left, there is this amazing connection that you've made with Germany and the people in Biberach there, which I've been absolutely astounded to find out about. But there is a risk that that connection could fade and fizzle over time if these memories aren't kept alive, because people will forget why there is that connection in the first place.
Ollie's dedication to preserving his grandmother's story and the wider history of the Guernsey deportees is a testament to the importance of intergenerational connection and the power of sharing personal narratives. The podcast series is due to release on April 23rd and offers a vital window into a period of history that must never be forgotten.